Absolutely. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday, y'all. It's your girl, Lorna. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Success Code Fireside Chats, where we have conscious leadership, meeting business and real talk, and more real talk. And I always start the show by talking about the week. My week is never not a doozy. Okay, so can we just set the precedence right there, right now? And what a week, right? All the things that have happened this week has been so profound, right? And if we're paying attention, we get to realize that this is a season for a reason, right? Because if we look at all the things that are happening, and we're paying attention, it seems to me that there's a shift happening, right? I know it's happening in my life, y'all. And there's always a calm before a storm, and then you go into the storm, and then after the storm, there's another calm, right? It's all seasonal. It's all interrelated, but in a way that if you're not paying attention, you can mistake the season, right? So this week has been really, really profound for me. The rooms I've been in, the things that have been happening in my life, and the things that are happening in this country and in this world. And we're probably going to talk about that in a way today. But the show's not going to be all about it, but it's going to come up. I'm going to warn y'all now, it's coming up. Charlie's coming up because we are humans. And by the way, this morning I saw, and this is not a political show. This is where we talk about myths, we talk about success, we talk about breakthroughs, we talk about vision, we talk about values, because that's where, if we don't go there, then what are we living, right? Yeah. And so my guest today is she's not new to me anymore. Because first of all, she watches my show every week. And I met her because of networking. I met her because I was in a room of amazing 6-7-figure earners, and we just connected. And so we've stayed connected, and she said yes to being a guest on this show. And the reason why I brought her on, and this is like a mini introduction to who Tasha is, I watch her and I listen to her, and what I see is favor. What I see is strength. What I see is unstoppable. What I see is unbreakable, right? Because we all go through things in our lives, but it's how we come out on the other side that determines our character, right?
Totally.
And I know a lot of people, they'll stay in the judgment piece of it, whether they're judging themselves or other people are judging them, which is one and the same, by the way. And just, I watch you for the brief time I've known you, Tasha. I've watched you, and I know that there's a level of resilience and strength in your beingness that women are attracted to. So welcome to the show. I am so excited for this conversation. We're going to talk about being unstoppable. We're going to talk about being unbreakable. We're going to talk about being unmuted. And so before we go any further, I know I've just given you a long introduction because I admire you.
Thank you.
What's one thing you want to tell the audience about yourself, and then we'll jump in?
I think turning 50 was amazing, and it allowed, I couldn't wait to turn 50, Lorna, because my mother passed away at 47 and I was 29. So I was like, I'm 47, I made it, I'm 50, so now I'm 54. So every year I'm like, I'm still here, I'm still here. And just fix this, adjust that a little bit. So there was something about being that age that really broke through a lot of chains for me. And I love what you said about being unmuted, because the first passion that I had to help women was to help them find their unique voice
Mhm.
and to feel seen and heard. Because there was just many, many moments in my life where I just feel like my voice didn't matter,
Mhm.
or what I thought or felt about a situation was completely dismissed. And I loved turning 50, and I love the phase that I'm in.
Mhm.
And I just thank you for that introduction, because I admire you. So for you to say you admire me is a blessing. And thank you for that. And I love strong women who are not afraid. And I call it Baby Doll Bold over here. Baby Doll was the first company that I started. And then before the Tomahawk Homes and the nonprofit. Um, but it was a long journey for me,
Mhm.
just to open my mouth and feel confident and passionate and convicted that what I had to say was valuable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. And just for those of you who are not familiar with Tasha Martin, Tasha Baby Doll Martin, she's a serial entrepreneur. She she also runs a not for profit for women who are moving into sober living, and that's her Tomahawk Homes brand. She has a Baby Doll brand, which is a clothing experience. And what else do you do, Tasha?
Well, Baby Doll has Baby Doll Live. I have happy hours where I talk about recovery. And we have a podcast called It's My Turn. And that's where my music resides. So there's the song It's My Turn. And I have a new song that's coming out soon that's called Tell Me Your Story.
Nice. I love that. I love that. So, jumping into this conversation today, one of the things I always ask my guests is, what does success mean to you? Not to the world, to you.
Peace. It's
Mm,
peace. It's peace in my life. It's that I have I love the phrase, give God something to work with and people something to admire. And with those two things, I find myself being able to really work hard and find a lot of enjoyment with
mm,
what I'm doing, but not forget about my family. And that is what brings me peace, because I think that there's a myth out there for sure that you don't have to worry about your family. And I think that there is an enemy against families, if I can say that.
yeah.
Uh, we need to keep our families intact, especially when it comes to our kids and the next generation. So Lisa Bevere wrote a book called Godmothers, and it was so compelling for me about a scripture in the Bible, Titus 2, that talks about we have, like a requirement as older women to take our experience and our knowledge and our hope and our wisdom and share it to the next generation, whether it's our children or somebody else's children. I mean, we have, it's a requirement. I'm not, the right word's not coming to me, but I'm so convicted on that.
Mm.
Passing along our wisdom to the next generation. Um, I don't know where you can go with that. That was what was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
my
yeah. That's perfect because listen, this I believe my show is so divinely orchestrated because a lot of times we're having this conversation, right, and I have a question that I want to ask, and y'all just roll right into the question, and then you're done. Then you go, oh, I don't know if this is the right way, but listen, when you come,
Isn't that
there's no right or wrong way on my show, girl. It's divinely
amen?
orchestrated.
Amen.
So here's what I want to piggyback on that. Because a lot of times we think that life just happens, right? And it
Mhm.
doesn't, right? So I want to ask you, if I could, I want to ask you about um, because you started out with talking about how you finally got unmuted yourself. So, what
Yes.
are some of the moments where you were told, or what happened that you dimmed your light, you stayed
Mhm.
quiet, or you were just muted? Talk to us about a little bit about that, because a lot of women are still, even though they're successful, they're still doing that, right?
Yeah.
I just had a live
I
event
am.
in
Go ahead. I think it's frozen just for a second.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see what's going on. I thought we fixed this problem. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's just the picture is frozen, but I can keep talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, keep talking. Yes,
Okay,
keep
I'll
talking.
keep talking. So for me, I'm very transparent. I'm a very open book. And sometimes that brings up topics that are very uncomfortable for people. So I just apologize up front because I'm going to go there. From being a child, I was molested when I was 4. My natural biological father did not raise me, but the man who raised me since the age of 2 was a wonderful, wonderful father. In fact, he lives here with me, and he's been here for 5 years. He is an encourager, and just we have never had crosswords in my whole life, but there was an identity crisis from just that element that lasted forever. Who was my father? What my last name was? Hiding it in school all the way through till I was about 15, and I was adopted officially and legally so that my name could stay with the father who raised me. And so it was this ongoing through my whole life. And there were just these things in the family that I think a lot of people have that are just on the down low. They're just hush hush. They're the pink elephant in the room, and they get brushed under the rug. And anything that we continue to keep in the dark and in secret, the enemy can use against us. And so when I was in my early 20s and came to know Jesus, started reading the Bible and learning the Bible and the stories, I remember reading through Genesis and all the names. And that so related to me because my identity crisis was, who was I? Like,
Mm,
who was I really? And what was my name? And I'm like reading all these names, and I thought, wow, God really loves me
mm.
because he talks about every single person along the journey and all the stories. And that's what the message was for me. So mine started very young, and it lasted all the way until I was probably in my mid 30s, probably 35. And what changed or what shifted was my mom got terribly ill. And 6 months into it, she was in a wheelchair. And 18 months past that, she passed away.
Mhm.
And it was so traumatic. And it was a rare disease. They don't even know still today what exactly it is. It's very rare. And then she was just gone. And
Wow.
so I felt like an orphan, you
Mm,
know, because my dad really didn't handle that well. And he started drinking a lot, and he ended up in federal prison.
wow.
At that point, I began to reach out to have a relationship with the biological father, and just all these stones were overturned, uncovered. All these secrets were uncovered. And that's where I thought, man, I was the goody two shoes in my life. I was the cheerleader and the student council and the honor roll person, and
Yeah.
you know,
Overcompensating, right?
scholarships to SMU for ballet and all the things. And I thought, wow, I've been so hard on myself, and all these other people around me are a mess.
Hey, Tasha, let's jump off and jump back
Okay.
in
Okay.
because this thing is not
Okay. Let's
it's
start
not
over.
communicated. All right. Okay.
Okay. We'll do it.
Okay. All right, we are back. We are back. We are back because I think we have another technical difficulty. So thank you for your grace. Thank you for your grace. I thought we had solved the problem with the streaming on StreamYard. And so today is the final day that we are gonna no longer use StreamYard because it keeps freezing when we are on. So I love what Tasha was talking about. Why we wait for her to come back on. We will. Oh, here she is. Yes. Hi. I was just telling them, this is my last week of StreamYard because I thought it was my computer and we did a lot of fixes on my computer. So now I know it's not my computer, it's StreamYard. So I got to get. All right. So just let's jump back in to that conversation about your journey and about how you went back to find your biological father and what was transpiring after. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tasha? You can't hear me. Why can't she hear me? You're on stage, girl. Why can't you hear me? Can you hear me, Tosh? Tasha, can you hear me? She can't see me. All right. Hang on, guys. Hang on. If you're online, please be patient while we work on this technological challenge.